Hello, everybody. Hopefully, y'all doing well. Doing a little stream to review one of the debates I had several years ago now. So it's like a 6-hour debate. So this would be several parts, but it'd be interesting to see how my debate was at the time compared to how it is now. And I'll be checking the live chat, so be sure to drop comments in there. Yes, for those who are watching. Hopefully, more will show up as time goes on. I'll try to have these regularly, maybe every Saturday at this point, but I'll see how it goes. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't. I have my X channel there. I'll start posting on it and have a Patreon now as well. And I'll probably start making some videos on my other channels that's focused on like STEM or focused on DarrylEBerryJr or things like that. So to get to it, I actually uh, found the part on a video where it starts with the debate. So basically, the whole like first 30 minutes is basically getting set up and getting him online. It was like one of my first streams. And so now we're at the part of the video where we're going to watch his video, and this is basically going to be the foundation of the conversation, which is basically looking at the Himawari satellite. So basically, my understanding of the Himawari satellite is it's a satellite that is hovering or revolving around the Earth above Japan, or the Japanese satellite, and it can scan the Earth and take a picture of the Earth once every 10 minutes, which it does. So as a matter of fact, if you see the image that's in my stream right now, that is a picture from Himawari. So that's one of my favorite satellites. So that picture of the Earth right there on the bottom left, it is from the Himawari satellite. So so that's what the pictures look like. So they're pretty cool pictures. And so I'll go ahead and get the video started. We'll see how much of it I get through. I'm thinking I might not be able to get you more than an hour, but we'll see. Awesome. So this should be able to hear now.
So why are we picking on the Himawari today? Well, defenders of the heliocentric...
So, can y'all hear that there when I play it?
Just waiting, Darryl.
Ah. And you may need to press play on the
Yeah, that's coming through.
I noticed the video was actually dedicated to me. Either I overlooked that or I forgot that. So, sometimes when I'm making videos, people will come and make a little comment on the video or whatever. So it's pretty cool that he made an actual video.
So why are we picking on the Himawari today? Well, defenders of the heliocentric model love to point to the quote-unquote almost real-time images from the Himawari as proof of a globular Earth, since it allegedly gives us a picture every 10 minutes, and the weather data seems to be, pretty current. Well, unfortunately for the ballers, we're going to debunk that completely here, simply in the next 5 minutes, and show you how they fake it all. Let's cut right to the smoking gun to start. Here is the website anyone can go to and see this all for themselves. On a side note, the Himawari is operated by the Japanese Meteorological Space Agency and brought to us by the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's GOES geostationary satellite server. And I'll include the links here for all this stuff in the video description, so you can check it out right now if you want. Okay, so when you're at the FTP site, click here for the site description. So when you do, a text file comes up, and you can see right here, they tell you that all
I'm not hearing anything now.
in the archive use the underlying
Anyone hear me?
land
I can hear you.
images from the NASA
Yeah, I can hear you,
data
mate.
set. Yep. So the Himawari is actually
There's a few people
I
in
can't hear
the
the video.
You might have to play it on the.
stationary orbit above
Can
the
y'all
Earth
hear the
every
video on the live
10
stream
minutes and
page?
beam down for us to all ooh and ah over.
Yep.
They take the blue marble data set, which I'm sure you remember. They admitted years ago was a flat strip data pieced together by an artist named Rob Simon. And
So let's stop here. So we're at the point where in the video it says that the images for the GOS directory, and I'll bring up the GOS directory real fast, the first link that's up in there. I can go ahead and slide this to the right. So it's talking about this directory here, and then it goes to this the directory page for the NNVL. And you point out the part where it says the underlying colored land image is from the NASA Blue Marble Next Generation data set. Would you explain what it means by that, or what you mean by that, or pointing that out?
Yeah, they have a stock image of the blue marble, and whenever what they do is images come in from ground-based stations, from ships, from balloon satellites, and they all transmit the data to Himawari, and then Himawari transfers the data back down to ground-based towers, a ground-based station, and then it goes through a couple different stations and gets distributed out.
Okay. So what you're saying is the Himawari doesn't actually take pictures of the Earth from space. It's actually people from the Earth send the images to the Himawari, and then the Himawari sends the images back.
Well, if you can't see the video if you're playing it, but it shows a diagram of what it does.
Well, that's a bit farther into the video. Right now, let's talk about just the blue data set, though. Are you saying that those are the images that they... The one thing you notice, by the way, this is a common flat Earth characteristic where they something. If you could ever get them to present something, and you ask them a very clear, direct question about it, and they just ignore the question and start talking about something else. Even though he was talking about something related, he still didn't answer the question, so I have to ask again. They send to the Himawari to send back to make it seem like it's a Himawari image?
No, the image of the Earth is a stock image, and all the clouds and all the data that comes in comes from ships that are out in the ocean, comes from weather balloons, comes from ground-based observatories, comes from buoys that are in the ocean, comes from but the main image that they show you, the main image of the Earth is not new. It's not a new picture every time. In other words, it's new cloud formations because they're transmitting the cloud formations into this algorithm that it gets later on in the video. It shows it a little bit better.
Okay, but this right here though, and I think y'all can see it now, right? Y'all can see my me presenting.
I can only see.
I mean, inside the Hangout. Inside the Hangout, can you see me presenting?
The underlying...
Oh, okay, yeah. There we go.
Awesome. So here we go. I'm getting it worked out. I'm getting it figured out, guys. So in the Hangout, like right here, when it says the underlying colored land image, you're saying those are stock photos that make the Himawari images.
Actually completely, totally debunked right there. These
Correct.
Pictures
right.
from a satellite.
Do you know where so when it says NASA Blue Marble Generation data set, do you know where those images come from?
I'm trying to make it a little bit bigger. Where do the images come from?
Yes, the Himawari Blue Marble data set that is saying is the actual images. Do you know where they come from?
It was created University of Boulder, Colorado.
So it was created by people?
Yeah.
Okay, from the University of Boulder.
Right.
What did you learn that, or what evidence do you have of that?
That it was created by University of Boulder? I searched it last night.
Okay. Would you be able to find that link, and so I could show that as well?
Yeah, I could probably find it. Yeah, in a minute.
Okay, I can give you a moment to find it. And to make sure I understand earlier, like you were saying, that we'll get to it in detail, but just to make sure what I heard you saying, the images go to the Himawari from like buoys, from what other things you were saying? Buoys, balloon satellites.
Yeah, balloon satellites, airplanes, um, ground-based observatories. There's seismic sensors that measure ocean waves
Okay.
and different. There's just a bunch of different sensors on different islands and stuff positioned all around Australia, Japan, Asia kind of area.
Okay.
And they have, hundreds of these different sensors that kind of transmit the data of what's going on, in the ocean and the clouds and all these different seismic waves for earthquakes and temperature and all that stuff comes from the ground and from, buoys in the ocean, stuff like that.
So the data.
It transmits it to the Himawari, and then the Himawari transmits the data back down.
You can see people in the live chat saying how wrong it is.
Shoot, I'm trying to think oh, here
We'll
it is.
get to it. But I just want to get the understanding though that you're saying that the Himawari is not really out there in space taking data. It's simply sending back what's sent to it. That's where the Earth pictures and all come from. Is really just sending back what's sent to it, and that's a major part of the hoax. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And are you able to find that link?
I noticed that was my third or fourth time asking that question until he finally answered it directly.
Yeah. Hold on.
Let me take a look at the chat while you're looking for the links. God, I've changed the stream so many times earlier. You could post it anywhere you right on the hang on the left side. Well,
so throw a bit while he's getting this link.
Okay.
HTTPS. Well, different users.
We could go through the ones that we had the images in to get started.
But this isn't the link that I had last night, so I will.
That's fine. We have time to find it. We could go through the ones.
So of course it's customary that these smoking guns that they have that show that the data is faked, they suddenly can't find the link anymore. Reminds me of Witsit.
Universe by humans, basically CGI from them by. So, but the understanding is that the images are not really taken by the Himawari is made by humans, basically CGI from the University of Boulder, correct?
No, the algorithm was made by the University of Boulder.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's for the NASA Blue Marble data set collection of images. Is that correct?
Yeah, they use that.
Okay, no problem. Let's keep on going.
Earth getting snapped every 10 minutes and being beamed down for us to all ooh and ah over. They take the blue marble data set, which I'm sure you remember.
And y'all able to hear the video playing in the Hangout?
Data pieced together by an artist named Rob Simon in Photoshop because it had to be, right? But to move on, and then to just briefly show you how they generate a picture every 10 minutes with what appears to be accurate current weather. This is basically what they do. Now,
I can't hear it.
I don't know. It's
probably something on my end, though.
Number one, they have
Are you able to hear it, Dan?
stored transparent images of the weather over the oceans.
I can just hear you talking, buddy.
Okay.
At the moment.
No problem. Well, it's not perfect, but we'll make it work. So right now, this is saying, would you go ahead and explain to us, fight the deception? What this part of the video is talking about? It's talking about the.
Why don't you just forward it? Why don't you just go forward a little bit in the video? and show the picture, the image,
Well, because it's important. You may not recognize how important it is, but I'll make sure to address it. But just to understand what is going on right here, like what is this page showing or talking about?
that page is talking about. I can barely see it, honestly, but
Okay, let
yeah,
me
I
make it
can't
bigger.
see it at all.
Let me make it bigger.
Which they openly admit right here that they've done climate simulations up to the year 2095, but it's actually the year 2100 on this FTP server folder. Accurate and current weather. This is basically what they do. Now, don't take my word for it, as I always say. Go check it out for yourself. Number one, they have already created and stored transparent images of the weather
Says
over
they
the
predict
Seems to be a common thing that they say don't check it out, go check it out, but they never actually check it out.
surface
using climate
temperature
simulation software, which they openly admit
departure
right here
from
that
the.
they've done climate simulations up to
Let's
the
see.
year
I can't.
2095.
I still
But it's
can't barely see
That's
it.
correct. Now that's interesting that you say that. So when you play the video, and perhaps what you can do, why don't you do this? Why don't you bring up the video yourself, like your video on your side, and that way when I play it, you can play it at the same time, right? And then so we having whatever kind of
Okay.
sound issue, but yeah, you can just play it on your
Yeah,
computer.
I don't.
So right now I'm on. Let's go to 1 minute. Let's go to 1 minute and 39 seconds, and let me know when you're at 1 minute and 39 seconds, and then we'll.
to just briefly show you how they generate a picture every 10 minutes with what appears to be accurate and current weather. This is basically what they do. Now, don't take my word for it, as I always say. Go check it out for yourself. Number one, they have already created and stored transparent images of the weather over the oceans using climate simulation software, which they openly admit right here that they've done climate simulations up to the year 2095, but it's actually the year 2100 on this FTP server folder, and here's one of the images. And following some of the other images
So if you
that
can
you might
pause right
find
here,
where the land
please, at
masses are.
2:15. So what would you
Okay.
say is going on here?
Basically, they have images that they have already done ahead of time. Basically,
Hmm.
that it doesn't show what's going on over the continents. It only does what's going on in the oceans.
The interesting thing is that they seem to believe that there's this big conspiracy that's hiding the shape of the Earth, but at the same, uh, all the data that proves it's a conspiracy, they believe they could just find it willy-nilly online. But then, of course, when you try to get the evidence that it is what they say, like earlier, they can't find the link anymore. But they found it, and it's right there, and they can see all the. It's quite interesting. I don't know if they think people are generally stupid, that all the information is there, but they're the only ones that can find it. Apparently, they never stop to consider that maybe they're just wrong. Um,
Basically,
Okay.
and and then later on, at the actual time that they're gonna show the time that they're gonna show it, they transmit the data that's going on from land.
So this is now. I heard him say in here, and you heard it yourself where you was playing at. This is they're predicting the weather patterns. That's why the clouds match. Is that what you're understanding as well?
I don't think they're predicting them
Let's go back and hear what your video says again.
because these are coming from they are already in the year 2100.
Hmm. Okay. But from your perspective, though, is just their. So what is your understanding of what they're saying here then? When you go back to like let's say 206, like what is your understanding? Like what's your significance of what this means?
Basically, the data collection system of Himawari relays data collected from Earth-based observation towers. They're called DCSs.
Hmm. Well, I'm talking about
Data
just this
data
right
collection
here.
platform.
Like I understand what you're saying, and you talk about that yourself later. But right here, I heard him say that the reason why the clouds. Matter of fact, we could just play it again. If we go to like uh, 2 minutes again.
Using climate simulation software.
And he says using climate simulation software.
They've done climate simulations.
Climate simulation software up to
But it's actually the
2095.
year 2100 on this FTP.
But it's up to 2100 here.
Here's one of the images.
He says here's one of the
Some
images.
of the other images that you can find where the land masses are transparent.
Climate simulation.
Climate simulation.
To come up with the
So do you agree with that?
You know, since our weather data comes from
That's why the clouds match
the
because for instance, there's people who look at the Himawari and images, and they see that it matches the location, the weather at their location. So it sounds to me that
because it transmits that data at that time that's going on. It does it every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Actually every 2.5 minutes. There's like 3 or 4 different things that it does it in strips. It'll do a strip, another strip, and then then it jumps down by Australia somewhere.
I was going by what he said what his video that he presented is saying, which is that he's using uh, software. But now he's saying they're sending the data every 2.5 minutes, which of course he didn't present any evidence.
It takes the strip from down there, and then it hops back up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a animation on the website you can.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Man.
And basically, you're talking about the balloon satellites, the airplanes, the ground-based systems, the seismic sensors, the buoys. All of these things send that up, and the Himawari simply sends it back and makes the real-time composite. Is that what you're saying? But the data is really coming from the balloons and the buoys and everything.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure we're on the same page and I understand you correctly. So, all right. And basically this is what, and I'll play this for a second. And right now I'm at 4 minutes, if you'll go to 4 minutes. And let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so I'm playing at 4 minutes.
October 11th, 2017 at 11:05 a.m. And you can see that the weather is exactly the same. Watch it closely. There's your weather map comprised of simulated and Doppler radar being used to complete a composite image. They do this with the Discover satellite too. The Epic camera from 1,000,000 miles away, they tell us. Ridiculous. Okay. Now, also notice the final image has a Terminator line added in to try and make it look like a real picture from space, which drives a nail in the coffin of the Himawari because the weather data shows it over the whole ball completely. But they have to add a Terminator line to show the Earth only partially lit by the sun based on the time of day that the photo is allegedly taken. So if this is a real picture, how did they know where to put the clouds and weather on the part of the globe with no sunlight? It's completely dark there.
Oh, let me go ahead
It's all right here, guys.
Let me add something else here.
Space. Hey, we all fell for it for a long time with their Doppler radar and weather simulation software, building a current weather picture and wrapping it around a ball in 3D software and pasting it onto a black background like they do with all the others.
I noticed that what the video is saying is still contradicting. His video is contradicting what he said. This guy's going back to where that's predicting, and then it's projecting these software projections on there. But he was saying that they're sending data from buoys. So I believe that's one of the laws of FLIRT from MC2, that the references of the flat Earth that doesn't ever support them.
Terminator line and calling it a real picture from space.
Okay, so that's pretty much, it seems like we got the understanding of what was going on in that video. And again, I just want to say again, one more time, respect to you, for all the people who just joined. And what comes from Paul C. Cole. Just wanted to show that day here to getting the Himawari site. So it's not really necessary to really play this part of the video if you would agree, because it's right there in the website anyway. So what I'll do is go straight to the website, and I'll put the links in for everybody so they can see it.
That's fine.
That was in the video. When that was in Paul's video, and this is the page where he was talking about
This actually came from a video that was, a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That I looked at it back then, but I didn't dig into it any more than that. And now when you go to that same link,
mm-hmm.
I don't think, like, I couldn't get it to pop up like it's just frozen almost.
I understand
To
exactly
me.
what you mean. The first time I tried to get it to load, it wouldn't load either. And people were trying to say, oh, like a child, he needs help, but you can confirm that the site is
Yeah, no,
inconsistent.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to get it to load. And I was able to
Okay.
see it didn't load immediately, but like later that night or the next morning or something, I was able to get it to load. It's probably because I don't know what this service is like, but suffice it to
Yeah.
say, I was able to get it to load, and I was able to see and I might even have some of them open already. I was able to see the image that he linked inside his video. So the planet image is there. I just um um I challenged the reasoning behind why he says it's happening, which we will talk about. So, if you would agree, and I'm going to post this link in the chat for everybody, this is the first one you was reading, right? Where it says the data collection system of the Himawari. And you read it, you had a bit of a choppy voice.
Yeah.
Would you like to read it now? Or would you like me to read it? I figured we could read it for everybody. Matter of fact, I can read it and I'll ask you questions as we go along if you don't mind. And if you have any doubt,
Okay.
right?
That's
So,
fine.
the data collection systems of Himawari, introduction to DCS and DCP. It says the data collection system of Himawari is a relay system used to collect observational data from Earth-based observing stations or data collections platforms that are located within the communications range of Himawari. The DCS consists of Himawari, its ground stations, and DCPs. Typical DCPs are found in the form of weather stations at remote sites, tide tsunami gauges, or instrumental aircrafts and ships, as you were saying earlier. The name MTSAT DCS was changed to Himawari DCS with the operational satellite switchover in July 2015. DCP stations use MTSAT docks are able to use Himawari DCS with no change in DCP antenna direction or DCP settings and no reapplication to JMA. So just for the audience, would you reiterate what this is saying here?
Yeah, it's saying that the data collection system from Himawari utilizes data from ground-based towers and buoys and ships, and the part about the balloons and the airplanes is a little bit. Oh, it says aircraft there, but and it says
Reiterate what this is saying here.
tsunami gauges, but the other part about the buoys and the is in another section.
Okay, that's fine. But in other words, it's talking about how the Himawari is getting data from the ground, not from space,
Right.
really. All right,
Right.
I'm with you. So let's go to the next one. DCS is classified into two categories of international DCS, IDCS, and regional DCS or RCDS, depending on the range of movement of the supported DCPs, data collection ports. The IDC is designed to support DCPs on aircraft or balloons that move from the communication range of one satellite to another. RDCS is designed for DCPs located within the communication range of the satellite, such as those placed on isolated islands. DCPs on aircraft or balloon are supported by RDCs by moving within the communication range of a particular satellite. The following section gives further details of the Himawari RDCS. And then this must be the image you were talking about, right? When you were saying it shows what's going on. You able to see it?
Yeah.
Data flow in the Himawari DCS.
Keep in mind, this is a public website, and he's speaking as if, oh, it's fake is really only just getting information from the ground as a part of a hoax. Public website. But we'll get into why uh, this is in the context of the Himawari.
Observational flow data measured by DCPs are transmitted to Himawari, which in turn relays them to the ground stations operated by the Himawari Operations Enterprise Corporation. Data received at Hope are demodulated and sent to the Meteorological Satellite Center of JMA. Data processed at MCS are handed over to JMA's main telecommunications system and then reported to DCP operations over the global telecommunications system. So pretty much is kind of just saying the same thing. And everybody could look at the link and see for themselves. And but I see what you're saying, how I was saying the data is sent back up. That's the first link that you posted. In your video, this is the second one that you posted. And I'll go ahead and scroll to that part of the video so everybody can see as well in the page. So that was the one data collection system of Himawari. This is the one hold up, and this is one where you mentioned balloons. Hold up here. Maybe I went a bit too far.
If you remember correctly, in the original hangout that we got to talking in, you told me to prove that they get the data from weather balloons and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so this is your proof for that. I got you. So sounds good. But again, I appreciate you stepping forth. And I have so many links up. Let me find a link again. So cool. That's the proof of, and I can see where it's saying it's coming from, things like that. And this is the second link you posted. Let me make sure I find that inside the video so people can see. That was the data flow. All right. Boom, boom. How to collect data. Matter of fact, it'd probably be easier if I slide this on down closer to the edge. And I can make sure they know that I'm looking at the second link you posted. Okay, here it is right here. So this one says DCPs and DCSs and DCPs. So that's this link right here, DCSs and DCPs. And I'll put this link inside the chat for everybody to see as well. So this is going right up into the chat on the stream. So again, so it seems like you're using this link, how to collect data. The data collection systems. As a matter of fact, let's play the first part where you're reading that. So this is on 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Meteorological observation data, islands, seismic intensity gauge, local meteorological observatory, etc.
So let's make sure we're on the same page.
Data up to the Himawari. Himawari transfers data back down to the primary station, operated by Hope. Data center operated by Hope. Secondary station.
That's right.
Antenna site. Data center operated by Hope.
And that's this link right here.
Meteorological satellite center. And finally to the Japan Meteorological Agency.
There you go. Right there you're talking about.
Distribution of DCPs. DCPs, data collection systems, is used to collect data and relay data via Earth-based observation channels. Data collection platforms.
I'm so used to talking to you, I didn't realize that was the video talking. But cool. So that's what it was saying. So does this establish enough to you that the data is really coming from the ground-based systems, or this is the two links to basically your understanding is that this establishes that the data is not coming from space, from a satellite, it's just relayed back and forth.
Yeah, I actually found some more to add to that.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to show it if you want to link it, and then I'll come with my rebuttal.
It's actually uploading right now on.
That's fine. Okay.
YouTube.
You mean a video? Okay, perfect. What all we do is let's deal with the data we have now, and I'm pretty sure the data we have now will address that anyway. So are you ready for my response to your video and your claims?
Yeah, sure.
We could just work backwards. Now this is one of the things I noticed with flat earth believers, and I'm starting to understand that it's inherent in believing the earth is flat. And by the way, let me stop putting this thing in the is the major thing here. Let me move this down or something so we can see each other again. So this is what I find, and let me just situate this a little bit. Is inherent in believing the earth is flat that you have to deny and certain things and limit the data that you look at, right? And to me, you seem like a very sincere person. I know there's very sincere people who are studying flat earth. I know Bansar is sincere, and he looked into it more deeply and found the truth. I know Sean G is sincere, Jose. These are examples. So what I'm going to do is show you that the conclusions you made, which you put in this video here, and which we reviewed so I can confirm, understand what you were saying.
And the examples I gave just now, by the way, those were people who were flat earthers, but then became not flat earthers anymore after they saw there was more evidence. So there are people who are sincerely looking for believe they found the truth, and basically it's just ignorance. They didn't have enough information, and then eventually they got out of it. So at the moment, he seemed like somebody who, in a sense, was sincere, but fell into the delusion of flat Earth, which inherently means they, basically find any nuggets of confirming data they can, and then just say, "Oh, that's what it is," and they don't look any farther. They just have this partial bit of information that they warp into being the whole thing, which I'll mention in a moment.
Saying accurately is based on incomplete data. Well, I'm sure it's not conscious because I'm sure you're sincere. Seems like unconsciously you simply looked at only a few pages on this website instead of looking at the entire website. All I did was come to the same website you put up and looked a bit farther. Are you with me? So this is what I'm going to do. We're on the same web page that we read from you, if you can see right here. All I'm going to do is click this link here that says Himawari8 and 9. Same web page that you posted for your evidence that it doesn't get data from space. Let's see what it says. It says the figure below shows the sketch of Himawari8. Same website you used as your evidence. And let me make it a bit bigger. And I'm going to put this link inside but again, this is the same link you have already. All I did was click the little, at the top, you can see how it says DCS. That's the one that we read earlier, where we can see the image where it shows the data only going up and coming down, and you pointed out the Japan Meteorological Agency. Same page. All I did was click to the left, right there. It says Himawari8 and Himawari9 spacecraft. Same link that you shared. I'm going to share this in the chat now. And then we're going to see what it really says. Let's look at it. It says the figure below shows the sketch of Himawari8. It carries a new unit called the Advanced Himawari Imager. The table below lists the major specifications of Himawari8. New frequency bands are introduced for communication between satellites and ground stations. The Ka band is used for downloading of meteorological data. The Ku band is used for telemetry and command operations. The satellite each carries a transponder to relay environmental data from data collection platforms to sustain the data collection system. So this is saying there's 3 different uses or functions for Himawari8. One, the new data frequency band is for downloading meteorological data. The next band is for downlinking, for telemetry and command. So there's one for downlinking meteorological data, one for telemetry and command, and the third is for DCPs, for a relay of data. So let's scroll down and look at that. So here is the AHI, the Advanced Himawari Imager, which is something new. It's saying the new thing that they put in so they could download this high band of information with the AH. See that right there? New unit called the Advanced Himawari Imager. New frequency bands are introduced for this. Then it talks about the antennas, KU band, KA band antennas to transfer data. We're going to scroll down a bit farther and we can look at this in detail. Communications. Again, from the first part it talked about the 3 things Himawari does. Communications 1, raw data transmissions, KA band, downlink. 2, DCS, uplink and downlink. That's what you was talking about. 3, telemetry and command. So what you did was you focused on one of the uses of the Himawari8 and confused that with being the full. Because as you said in your video, if we go to the end, when you round it up, and as we confirmed earlier, that's why I want to make sure that I don't confuse your data, but just say it right here. There you have it. The data comes from ground-based stations, ships, balloons, and sensors, and transmits them to be processed and distributed to various organizations in the forms of weather reports. But that's not true. Let's go ahead and go back to that page I was looking at and showing you.
So are you saying that these aren't composite images?
Well, right now we're just talking about the data. We'll get into what the images are. Right
Now, notice what happened just now. He did what flat earthers customarily do. You point out something that is showing them wrong, and they want to change something else. Watch that again.
now we're just talking about the fact that.
So are you saying that?
Go ahead and go back to that page I was looking at and showing you.
So So are you saying that these aren't composite images?
So whether it's composite or not has nothing to do with the fact that it's downloaded. It's not loaded and downloaded. The thing that's coming from the download stream is that's downloaded, period. But flat earthers don't want to accept facts that contradict their flat earth delusion or their flat earth indoctrination. So
Well, right now we're just talking about the data. We'll get into what the images are. Right now we're just talking about the fact that what you said was incorrect. The data does not just come from ground systems. It gets
technically, you said that they were full-on pictures, right? A full picture of the Earth.
so right now.
So here he is again, changing it again. Now he's trying to talk about whether it's full-on pictures or whatever. We're talking about the data.
Does not just come from ground systems. It gets
technically, you said that they were full-on pictures, right? A full picture of the Earth.
So right now you're changing the subject. Right now, all we talking about right now. So all we talking about is we were talking about the pages we just linked, which was this page right here, right next to the one I'm talking about. And you were saying
the original claim was that there was full pictures, single full pictures taken from the Himawari from 22,000 miles away that are a full picture of the Earth, right? One shot.
That's correct.
Okay.
Your basis for saying
that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Okay, we're going to get there. To establish this one point we're working on, your claim that that is not true is because the data is actually coming from the ground and being sent back. It's not actually coming from the satellite. Is that correct?
They admit that they're composites.
So again, I'm going to ask that question one more time. Your claim was that proof that the data is not coming from the satellite is because it's being sent from ships, islands, meteorological observations, buoys to the satellite and then sent back down is not really coming only from the satellite. Is that correct? You said it earlier. It's recorded.
Partly, basically.
No, you said it. You said
basically.
No, it's not basic. You said it. You said the data is coming from buoys, ships, islands, and you showed me the image. Let's go back to that other page we had there.
That's true.
Okay, so what I'm showing you now is that you focused on one aspect of the satellite. There is a relay station because think about it. If you have an isolated island where there's no data cables being laid, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's data cables laid across the ocean that carries data, but there's not data to every single island. When a boat goes out into the ocean, it's not dragging a cable behind it connected to the internet. So what they do is, as you said, they send data from the boat to the satellite, and then send data from the satellite to the land. That's one function of the Himawari. So what I'm showing you right now is what you said was the data, that's where it comes from. I'm showing you that is incorrect. Right here on the same page you showed, it says it right there, raw observational data transmission. The satellite does take raw data and sends that data down. And let's go to another link that shows that image. This is on a page you showed. Now, if you look here, there's no uplink. Do you see that, this image right here? There's no arrow going to the Himawari. It's only an arrow, raw data. You see that right there? It says raw data from the Himawari coming down to the JMA and then being sent to the world. So what you did, you focused on one aspect of a use of the Himawari and said that's it. It's proof that the data is not coming. First of all, if you think about it, if it's some big conspiracy, why in the world would they put online that the data's that's what it is? Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. If anything,
but if you look at the image, what I'm talking about, you probably can't see my mouse, but if you look at the image in the browser window, the Himawari satellite is the one on the left side of the image. So if you look at the image, there's the Himawari satellite on the left side, and it's the only blue line. So the blue arrow is saying raw data coming down, and then that raw data is sent, back to other communication satellites, to cloud services, and so on and so forth. So that image right there. So if he's gonna accept the image on the same website from the different tab, that says it's coming from the ground and going up. You notice when I pointed out the fact that there is real data, he's wanting to change the subject to whether it's a full picture, he's wanting to talk about whether it's only one snap or not. And it turns out I was wrong about that. I'm pretty sure we'll get to that. It is scanned over some time, as I said earlier. But notice he completely wanted to avoid the fact that he was wrong about all the data coming, all the data that's coming from the satellite is actually going up from the ground. He wanted to completely avoid that and just start talking about something else. But the time in, in talking to some of the people on one of the Discord servers, it seems like these people are sincere in the sense that they're not intentionally trying to deceive you. Some of them not intentionally trying to deceive you, but at the same time, their delusion or bias causes them to act in ways and speak in ways that's deceptive, like trying to change the subject when they're faced with information that contradicts what they want to believe or what they said, or his reluctance to repeat the fact that he said that, contrasted with the fact that I'm showing data that he's wrong. So I mean, it's interesting.
The world. So what you did, you focused on one aspect of a use of the Himawari and said that's it. That's
I'll move my
it's proof
camera
that
over
the
a little.
data is not coming. First of all, if you think about it, if it's some big conspiracy, why in the world would they put online that the data's that's what it is? Obviously, that don't make any sense. If anything,
Because they already showed you what the Himawari is doing.
This is my point. If it's some
This
big,
doesn't. But this isn't showing any of the ships or any of the ground-based
I know
data
it's
points
not.
or anything.
I know it's not because it's raw data from the Himawari. That's the point. You showed only one aspect. That's why we're showing ships and buoys and islands because it is what it does. If there's a boat out by an isolated island, there's no wire connecting the boat to the land. So the boat sends the data to the Himawari, and then the Himawari sends the data back. That's what that page you were looking at was saying. That's an accurate use. That's accurate. So I'm going to show that page again. You're right. This is it right here. This is what we're talking about. This is the data coming from the islands to the Himawari. This is the data coming from the seismic gauge to the Himawari. This is the data coming from a ship to the Himawari. Because those are isolated things. They're islands and ships. They're not connected to a cord. So rather than plug the ship on the plug a ship that's the length of the ocean to the cord plug a cord the length of the ocean to the ship and have the ship dragging a cord behind it. It says, hey, we have a satellite in orbit. Let's just send the data to the satellite, and then the satellite can send it to the land. That's what this image is showing. That's why this image here does not show that. That's why this image here does not show. Let me find that page again. That's why this image here does not show it coming up from the ground because it's not. That's the point. That's why this image does not show it coming up from islands and up from buoys because it is not. That's because the image, the raw data, is coming straight from the Himawari. That's why it's not showing it up with arrow. So again, going back to the system, and this is the website you gave. You gave this website in your video. So if you're going to accept that page, you got to accept this page
because
too.
That's Toon's Law Firth. The Firth citations contradict what the first says always.
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
What you're doing though is you're reading it in order, and what it's showing is the Himawari is sending the raw data down, but this is already after the ships and everything have already sent the data up to it.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What does the word raw mean? Like if I have something that's raw, what does that mean?
Usually it means it's not edited or
exactly. That means is unedited, is fresh, is new data, raw data. Let's go back to the page again.
Unprocessed.
They edit it once it gets to the
Nobody else.
ground.
It's just me and him. Nobody else jump in. We'll open a panel later. So
they edit it once it gets to the ground. You see all those yellow,
No, let's back up. No, let's back up. You said that the earlier when I said the data is coming from the satellite, you said no, it's not showing everything. You said it only comes back from the satellite after they first send it up. That's what you said. Then I asked you, well, what does raw mean? You yourself said unedited. So by definition, if it's raw data, that means it's unedited data from the satellite being sent down to the ground. By definition, you said it yourself.
I never.
That's a very simple stuff. Um, and you can see how close he's getting to the screen. At first he was sitting back, but now it's like he's in or, or anxiety mode, trying to some kind of way get around accepting the fact uh, that he's wrong about that. Some kind of way trying to fit it in to still believe that the data is not coming from the satellite, that is only sending back what's been sent to it.
I never said that the satellite is the one that disseminates the data, though.
I know you didn't. I'm showing you that you're wrong about that. That's what I'm showing you right now. One thing
How
it
am I
does,
wrong? I never made that claim.
you said earlier that the data comes from islands, from buoys, from ships, and that's where it comes from. I'm showing you that
Yeah.
the Himawari does take pictures, raw data, and sends it to the ground. It says it here on this image. It says it in the specs of the Himawari right here. Whether you accept it or not, I mean, we could just move on. But the listeners will at least know that it says it right
I
here.
never made that claim.
Okay, no problem. It's on recording that you made the claim. It's fine. You made a video making a claim on your
It
channel.
transfers. I said it transfers the data to the Himawari. The Himawari transfers it down to ground stations that then disseminate the data and distribute it to they distribute it out from there.
I know that's what you said. And what I'm informing you is a different web page on the same website that said that is telling you that's only one use of the Himawari. One use of the Himawari is if a ship is way out in the ocean and is not connected to the internet. The ship sends the data to the Himawari, and the Himawari sends the data back down to the ground. That's one use, one DCS use for the Himawari. That's why if you look at this web page, it's showing that clearly. The data is coming from ships, islands, and so forth to the Himawari, coming back down. I agree with that. What we're not seeming to meet eye to eye is when you look at the actual specs of the Himawari, it says itself that's only one thing it does. Everything you said with the ships and buoys is right here. That's the DCS, uplink, and downlink. That's one function of the Himawari. Another function of the Himawari is raw observational data, raw pictures that the Himawari takes in and of itself and sends it down, raw data. And as you confirm yourself, raw means unedited, unprocessed, just like a raw vegetable before you cook it. That's why when you go to this, I'm starting to mix my pages up here, and again, I'm on the same website that you showed. That's why if you go here, again, there's no arrow coming up from the ground. There's no arrow coming up from an island. There's no arrow coming up from a boat because
Notice I said this earlier, and he when I showed him this the first time, he still said, well, that's after it already received the data. It's just not getting through the web of lies enmeshed in his mind, or the delusion, or whatever it is just not getting through that that this data is data that's not having already been transmitted up. It's data only from the satellite.
it's raw data. So we have to establish that first. We have to establish that the Himawari does take images on its own that's raw data, not edited by anybody, and sends it down to the ground. Did we establish that yet?
It doesn't take full pictures.
Did we establish that the Himawari takes raw data of its own that's not sent from the ground first? Did we establish that?
No, we
Okay.
didn't.
Well, we're going to move on.
All those color.
So notice the first. Let's say that again. Hold up.
Arrow coming up from an island. There's no arrow coming up from a boat because it's raw data. So we have to establish that first. We have to establish that the Himawari does take images on its own that's raw data, not edited by anybody, and sends it down to the ground. Did we establish that yet?
It doesn't take full pictures.
So you notice he changed it to full pictures or not.
Did we establish that the Himawari takes raw data of its own that's not sent from the ground first? Did we establish that?
No, we
Okay.
didn't.
Well, we're going to move on.
All those color bands just put color into the composite image.
Okay, you're not willing to accept it, but the website that you showed.
No, I can show you where it says that.
Okay, so go ahead and show me what you're talking about.
It's in another section.
Okay, go ahead and show me. And
there's a place called It'll be called Sat Aid. Yeah.
Go ahead in the chat and post it in there. Maybe I'm not.
Or actually, maybe click on MT Sat.
The Himawari8.
Is there a search bar
Now myself. There's no search bar,
on that
but
website?
version. Yeah, I remember. So you're talking about earlier versions. There's Himawari, and the Himawari7 is the MT-SAT2. So these are. So you're talking about SAT now myself.
The right section on MT-SAT.
All right. So what does this have to do with the Himawari8?
Well, I'm trying to.
Are you talking about different satellites?
Right section.
Mm-hmm.
The section actually, is there a search bar up at the top?
There's no search bar,
On that website?
but I can actually help you out right
bar?
now myself. You're talking about earlier versions. Like right now, the Himawari8, basically the Himawari7, I remember right, is the MT-SAT-R. Let me look it up real fast and we can see. So you're talking about earlier versions. There's Himawari6. So the Himawari6 is the MSAT-R1R, and the Himawari7 is the MT-SAT2. So these are apparently used as backgrounds. So as you can see, that's the Himawari6 and Himawari7. Those are
okay. The MT-SAT wasn't the right thing. It's Sat Aid.
Okay.
SATAID.
Okay. Sat Aid. Okay. So it looks like I found it.
First one.
Okay. So is this the site you were talking about? It looks like this is the Sat Aid site.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. This service provides satellite animation and interactive diagnosis application and SAT-8 data. The SAT-8 enables the visualization and the manipulation of satellite imagery, NWP numerical weather predictions, observation results, and data. And now JMA released the upgraded version of SAT-8 and its automated download. The new version of the programs enable you to download 10-minute initial observations of Himawari8, which will start operation on July 7, 2015. Okay, so please let us know what point you're making with this page here.
It seems like he's just searching.
It tells you right there that it's visualization and manipulation of satellite imagery, animation.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me show you something real fast. Are you looking at the stream? Look at the live page stream. And let me show you something real fast. All right. Now, right now there's a video image of me showing. Right now there's a picture of me showing. There's a picture. There's a picture of me and there's a cover of the first book I published. Now let me ask you something. Is that a real picture of me? And
I can't see what you're talking about.
Okay, it might take a little moment for it to show for you. Okay, give me a moment. Let me go to the.
I see part of it, but there's like I have a page that's over. It says bandsaw.
Just look at the. Let me link the link stream for you. Let me put the link stream inside the. So
does it say classes on Course of Miracles or something like that?
To the left. My picture to the left of that. I'll put the link inside the. So if you look at in the Hangout, this is the link to the actual stream. So just open that link and you'll see it if you don't see it already. Just look at the Hangout. I'll put a link there. And you'll see a picture of me. You see it at the top left, the picture of me?
No.
Just click the link inside the Hangout I put, where it brings up the live stream. You might have to mute it, but you'll see a picture of me on the top left in the Hangout, on the actual YouTube link of the Hangout, the actual live Hangout page.
Yeah, I'm there, but it's.
So look at the top left. You see a picture of me, and you see the cover of the first book I published on the left is just sitting there.
No, I see you. I see your face right now, live.
Okay, it just might be lagging a bit behind is all. Matter of fact, put it like this. If you look at my stream at the bottom, you see my little image where you subscribe at. You see the picture of me and the cover of the book at the bottom on the right on the stream page. It's small at the bottom on the right.
Not really. I mean,
See a comment. Matrix Media is saying I'm dismissing the man without entertaining what
Okay.
he's saying.
I'll put it like this. I
You
mean,
are being
I
passively
can
combative.
see
That's
something
obviously
there, but I can't
incorrect.
really see what it is.
and you still can't open up the.
But again, I guess he must be a flat earth believer because they constantly misinterpret and take partial data. Of course, I'm addressing every single thing he says. I bring the data that shows he's wrong, then he just doesn't want to accept it, want to change the subject, want to
the stream link, the
desperately
actual
try to find something else to try to
stream link that I put inside the
avoid it.
Hangout and see the image of me on the stream page inside the stream.
Oh, I could probably do that. Let's see.
All you have to do is just click the link right inside the Hangout. It'll open up the stream. I'll put it there again.
And that same person says, looking for what's wrong without letting him explain himself, when I literally played his video for him and asked him for clarification to make sure I understood exactly what he was saying before I even rebut. So this shows, is amazing, this thinking where you could actually sit there and play the video that was made to challenge you. Ask questions about the video. Pull up the website. Look at the website link. Ask questions to understand exactly what they mean before you ever try to rebut it. It was like, I don't know how far into the video. And still, one of the federal people looks and says, "Oh, you just rebutting without listening to what he's saying." It's amazing. It's unfathomable how closed that mind must be to think that you didn't listen to what he says when you actively listen to what he says. It's kind of like once you prove him wrong, their mind seems to just automatically start jumping to things to try to discount you, since they can't discount the facts. Just like what he's doing on the stream right here.
Yeah, it's on the left now.
That's right. You see the picture of me on the left at the top?
Yeah.
And remember to mute it so you don't hear double. Now let me ask you, is there a book, and I know it's a silly question, but just to prove the point, is there a book that's constantly floating in front of my face all the time? Like, do you see a book in the live stream floating next to my face? I'm really asking though.
Do I see a book floating in front of your face?
Yeah, just like when you saw me on the live stream. Do you think there's a book floating by my face in real life?
Why would there be?
Exactly. Would you say that that's an actual picture of me? You've seen me live. Would you say that's a picture of me?
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Okay. Would you say that picture has been altered?
Yeah, it's been altered. I mean,
obviously, right? Because there's a book hanging in the. There's no book right there normally, like by the side of my face. So, would you then say that's that picture represents raw data, like it's directly from a camera?
No, I mean, not necessarily.
Okay, we're on the same page. Well, it's not even not necessarily no, because I'm the one that did it, so I can tell you that's not a raw picture. I did some editing to it, and I cropped it, and I put a book cover in front of it, and so on and so forth. So. Now, let's look at this page again with that in mind. So I'm going to go back to reading that page about the SATAID. This service provides satellite animation and interactive diagnosis application and SAT-8 data. This enables the visualization and manipulation of satellite imagery. So on the one hand, we have the visualization and manipulation, and of what? Of satellite imagery. That would be the raw data. NWP, numerical weather prediction products, observation results, and data. So imagery, other data, telemetry, so forth. And now GMA released the upgraded version of SAT-8 and so on and so forth. So all this is saying to me is that this is a program that can be used to render and edit the data that comes from the satellite. That still doesn't change the fact that there's raw data coming from the satellite. Just like how you can look at that image of me and it's an edited image, it still doesn't change the fact that on my computer somewhere, if I look for it, there's a raw image of me that's direct from the camera that it has not been edited at all, and it's raw data. So just the fact that I edited the data to put a book cover in it and crop it doesn't mean it's not from a real image. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the same thing is happening. There's image from a satellite, and they've made programs to edit the satellite. Just like how I use Photoshop and Paint and so forth to edit my image, there's nothing wrong with having a program dedicated to the task of editing the image. I don't see anything wrong with that.
The difference is your picture of your face was taken from one photograph, correct?
Oh, that's right.
You can take
So you notice he's changing the discussion now. He's changing the discussion to whether it's one photograph or scan. When what we're discussing is he was trying to use his SAT-A thing. No, it really is not raw data. So I'll go ahead and stop you here from now. We had 1 minute and 33, 1 hour and 33 minutes uh, into the video. So what takeaways do we have from it? It's common. What he presented his information. I listened to it, asked in detail what was going on. What we got from him was just denial of his own resource, uh, changing the subject when information from his own reference shows him to be wrong. Wanted to change the subject, wanted to deny what he said exactly. Uh, Wanted to ask me questions about something. Well, does that mean it's a full picture, whatever? So it is a question. I wonder if it's just a natural component of the poor thinking that flat earthers develop, where they start to think and talk this way and reason this way, or if they look at YouTube videos of other flat earthers and they pick that up and think that's a good way to talk. Um, it seems to be the former. It seems to be just inherent in a biased, unscientific, illogical way of thinking. That's just what they start doing. Oh my gosh, I believe this one thing, and now this data is telling me wrong. Let me change the subject. Let me start talking about something else. Let me start talking about this other detail to just get away from the discomfort of facing that they're wrong. So thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And I'll go ahead and come back another time, and we'll see what else we find from this video. I haven't seen it since many years, so I'm sort of rewatching it again myself. So uh, I'll see y'all probably next Saturday. I'll take this up again, and you can look at one of my other channels. I'll have some videos up on my other channels on other topics. Will before that time, but look forward to seeing me next Saturday, and we'll continue going through this debate review. So thanks for joining. Like, subscribe.